The people, united, will never be defeated. 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 What do we want? Clean water. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Clean water. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Clean water. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Clean water. When do we want it? Now. Political pressure will get hotter if you decide to poison our water. Political pressure will get hotter if you decide to poison our water. Political pressure will get hotter if you decide to poison our water. Make our health the bottom line. 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 Make our health fishing on Blackbird River, and it's also full sludge on the river bank. I could not catch one, 'cause the cold had killed them. You say it's made for you and me. We're in solidarity, and we'll keep fighting until we win this battle with you. We will not take this environmental justice anymore. This day was made for you and me.
First of all, I'd like to say what a lot of them don't want to say is I'm not against mining. It's a lifeline on the main strip of Walton County living for many, many years. But I am against stripping Warrior River, my property in Oaktown, Alabama. I'm against that. Anybody that's seen it come down the river, look at these strip mines, and knows how people feel, what they've done to them, it's got to be against it. That's one little point, okay? I hear on television every day, I heard it last night, again, this is going to contribute 20 jobs for $4 million. 20 jobs? I did a survey of Dover and didn't get all the way. I only done an hour and 97 dwellings just in Dover, not counting the affected areas, just in Dover. 20 jobs ain't worth destroying that one house. And that uprooting that many people. It just ain't.
This mine in total would include 23 points of wastewater discharge into the Mulberry Fork and its tributaries, upstream of a primary drinking water intake of the city of Birmingham that supplies 200,000 people every single day in the greater Birmingham area. This is unconscionable and we believe should not be allowed. We really don't believe that we should even be having here today. I think that it's pretty clear that we should not be allowing coal to be mined and waste to be discharged into the river upstream of our drinking water supply in such close proximity. This mine would be roughly 5.5 miles upstream of our drinking water supply intake, the source of our drinking water. The Safe Drinking Water Act contains secondary maximum contaminant levels for heavy metals. The levels allowed by the NPDES permit would allow 10 times the MCL for iron and 40 times the MCL for manganese. In 2007, drinking water quality analysis showed that the source of water for the city was already containing levels too high, so any addition is too much.
The Black Warrior River, of which we've got 20 miles there, is a fragile natural system, and in 2011 the Black Warrior River was listed as one of the top 10 endangered watersheds in the country, largely due to the cumulative effect of mining operations. And this particular mine would continue to contribute to the negative impact that it's having on our river and our drinking water source. And you know, none of these things that I say are personal. I know they're not taken that way. We don't look at you as an adversary. look at all of us working together to make the right decision for our community, the right decision for everybody. And the way I see it, this is not going to benefit our entire community. This is going to benefit, the recipients, the city that's going to receive the pie in the sky now of $4 million. They've had money down there before that I haven't seen a lot of results of that money. The other thing, the coal operator is going to be receive a certain amount of money, but we don't see the positive impact, economic impact from this operation being worthy of the negative impact of pollution of water source, the destruction of flora and fauna, and I'm telling you, it's going to be an insurmountable opportunity cost for the city of Cordova. They'll never get over this.
A little bit about me is I've lived in Old Town for 52 years, my entire life. Went to school in Cordova, love Cordova, love the city, love the school, love my community. Like I asked you, when I was raised in Old Town, I schooled there, and in Cordova, I chose to stay in Old Town, where I lived at. And this mine will greatly affect me in drastic ways. It will reduce the dust and the roads will be terrible. The noise, the beeping of the dump trucks and the bulldozers will be keeping me up at night. I live very close. The blasting, we know all about that. And we all continuously problems with that. My grandson's here with me tonight. He's one of my best reasons I'm here. Because he has asthma. He loves to come visit me in this one remarkable city. Me and my wife. And if the roads are dusty and all that, he won't be able to play outside in the yard like he loves to. And I hate for that. I hate for him not to be able to come visit me as much as we'd like him to. So, adverse effects me personally. You heard about all these chemicals and all that. That's enough to say no to this mine. That's enough to say no to the destruction of this property.
I'd like to talk about something that's been touched on a little bit, but not quite in this way, and that's water quantity. Our water quantity in our state is stressed in our country, in our region, and our state. And our organization over the past few years has been working at the state level to advocate that our state put together a comprehensive water management plan. And by water management, of course, I mean monitoring and management of the water use in our state so that our resources are sustained for all of the many uses, whether it's irrigation or electricity or drinking water supplies that we use our waterways for. And as you know, when water supplies get stressed and the amount of water in our rivers, flowing in our rivers are stressed, that diminishes the river's ability to be able to disseminate pollution. It seems to me that in light of the threats to our water flows in our rivers and our water supplies, that it's very short-sighted to be issuing permits for pollution around the drinking water sources. The highest use of our water is public drinking water. And if anything, we should be identifying these source waters, streams and surface water, as well as the aquifer recharge areas, and doing everything we can to protect those for future generations to have clean and healthy drinking water, as well as the other many needs for our water resources.
I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago. I worked 46 years in northwest Indiana and all around there. As a kid, I would go skating, swimming in the streams up there. And when I got to be 30 years old, you couldn't skate on the rivers because they wouldn't freeze. They were so polluted. And that's what's going to happen to this river. I moved 660 miles. I thought I had a piece of heaven here. And, well, the EPA, I did build a dock. I lived right on Shepherd's Bend on the river. And the EPA has instruments on my pier, which I said, thank you very much, and I'll protect them. And I love it here in Alabama, and well, this is what I'm saying. So thank you for letting me say a little.
been working as a child and family therapist for about 8 years with children with autism and developmental and neurological disorders. Rigorous academic studies note the strong role of environmental toxins in the development of these disorders, notably autism. Environmental health experts denote the strong link between this disorder and toxins such as those discharged from mining operations. Children and the unborn are very vulnerable to these exposures. The statistics are clear. Autism rates have increased by 78% since 2003, increased 23% from 2006 to 2008. The cost of an individual with autism to the system overall is $54 million over a lifetime, and that information is from the CDC. Epidemic growth does not occur over a short time due to just genetic factors. You don't have to be a scientist to understand that. While genetics may play a role, keep in mind that the same genes have been within families for generations. The evidence points to environmental factors causing these disruptions. The toxins are being attributed to its increase more each day. Don't compartmentalize one cause as a liberal and environmental babble, and that your cause has a mainly responsibility to create jobs and to get the work done without consideration of such nonsense. It's all a man's responsibility to ensure children are safe and can live healthy and productive lives. There's nothing else more noble. Thank you.
For starters, all of the hospitals being in Birmingham, these hospitals get water from the Birmingham Water Works Board as well. So particularly when we're talking about the elderly and the youth, particularly being St. Vincent's and the Children's Hospital, they are going to be getting these higher amounts of mercury and magnesium arsenic and everything else that could be getting into our tap water. In fact, the majority of Alabama is on either Medicare or Medicaid. So what impact this has economically is if we have more people being sick in our state, it means that our state has higher costs that they have to put into Medicare and Medicaid. According to the business community themselves, if we have higher, to have a balanced budget, this means that we have to raise taxes. If we're going to raise taxes, this is an impact on the business community. This is also an impact, either they have more costs they have to incur, or our citizens have more taxes that they are paying, as well as, of course, as the expenses, extra expenses for water, which means they have less money that they can spend back into the economic system.
Maybe I had something else I wanted to say, but people have to take such a place that restores these people's lives and their health and their memories that they're up there pleading about. And it seems to me they're pleading with you to make decisions. I guess my only thing to say would be that, decisions are made in a great tide of history, and you guys got to make decisions. Maybe sometimes you change the way you make decisions, and history changes. And as you make your decisions, maybe you could think about that. Maybe you could close your eyes, like they did in that movie for a minute, and say, what if we were out on the surface water and somebody was applying to the mind? I don't know if that makes any sense to you. I don't know if you feel part of the story of Alabama, but you are a very important part, and certainly an important part of the story of these people's lives. And you have a very important decision to make.